So Nigerians, today, this analysis and discussion in this video is only for those who are deep thinkers and those who genuinely want to see Nigeria work. And so permit me to title this analysis, discussion, whatever you would call it, as what if. What if is under probability, right? What if not be the plan be this? What if not the plan be this? And I want us to do this because just the same way politicians feel, say that they enter the mind of Nigerians to know what they think when they react. That is how I want us today to enter the minds of politicians and help them think what we feel, say that they think and their plans be.
I've always known Peter Obi to be a very principled person. I've known him. I'm not just saying these people who just met him here now. I've known him for a very long time. And on his way, the founder of the ADC is my very good friend, Chief Wosu. Very good.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode. Like this 2027 general election, you and I know that it will be very hot. Like the way things are going, I know some people are not believing in Peter Obi. Why we have large crowd, like massive number of people who believe in the structure of Peter Obi. So there is another political cabal. Yes, so he was a former presidential candidate for PPA party. According to him, he said that he believes so much in Peter Obi because he has worked before with Peter Obi. I will let you see the video from him. His name is Peter Ameh. He's from Kogi State. And there's another video I want you all to see where this young man tagged the video, what if? This video is very deep. You know, some of us, the way we think about this political problem that is happening right now between Peter Obi, APC, ADC, and Kenneth Okonkwo is beyond what you and I are just looking with mere eyes. This guy break it down like bits by bits, and according to him, he said, what if the original plan is different from what we are seeing? What if this problem that is happening right now has been pre-planned long before now by some political cabal? Anyways, I want you all to sit down, watch this video, let me know what you think. This is a very good analysis. I will let you hear from him first before the other Peter Ameh. But in the meantime, if you are meeting me for the first time, you all said that I don't introduce myself. So this is me. I'm Lady J Corner. This is Lady J Corner, your political #1 YouTube channel. 6 years on YouTube, we're still kicking on. Please subscribe to my channel if you like what I do. Turn on the notification bell, turn it to all so that each time I post new video, you will be among the first to get notified. Thank you to all my returning subscribers that have been following me long since 2020. Thank you very much. With that being said, let's see the video together and I will be back with the rest of my thoughts.
And that is why I've titled this discussion, what if? And I will beg you to follow me throughout this analysis as we go. Please, I beg you to watch this video till the end. And so the first what if is, what if the original plan from Tinubu and Atiku was, Atiku, you know what? Run, but you know that you will not win. Because of course, it only makes sense that the power goes back to the south. But run and do everything you can to convince Peter Obi to be your vice, so that however the election go in 2027, if Peter Obi is the vice and you are the presidential candidate, there is no way Peter Obi or Obidients or Nigerians will shout if you no talk anything. And by 2031, Atiku will be 84 years and power naturally, by all standards, should be going back to the north. And at that time, Atiku, you will get it. And if Atiku gets power at 84 years of age, and then he do 8 years, Atiku would have been 92 at that time. Then power will come back to the south. What if Atiku now feels that it is okay for me to wait for 4 years? Let Tinubu finish his other term, which is from the south, then I take it over. It is better. So let me cooperate and allow them finish from the south. What if there was an agreement to say, Atiku, just do this thing. Don't worry, we go there settle you with you, your boys will take care of you, every other thing. Just get this done. What if that was the arrangement? What if Atiku has agreed to this game plan, and that is why both the Dino Melaye, Kenneth Okonkwo, Dele Momodu, they are all angry because for them, their wait for 4 years has now been truncated by the emergence of Peter Obi and Kwankwaso. And what if the reason why they are now angry is because they now know that their chances of becoming or going to that place again of presidency, that they think it is their birthright based on their political permutation. Because remember, since 1999, there have been a deliberate plan that makes it look as though Nigeria na monarchy system of government. They already had their plans. From Obasanjo, who else will take over? From that person, who will follow? From that, who will follow? But the death of President Yar'Adua break that arrangement when Goodluck Jonathan took over, did 2 years till 2011, and then did a one term at that time from 2011 to 2015, which is also in court. Debatable, right? Now, they came back to that original plan where they get for their mind, because for them, now them get Nigeria. And went back to the original plan of Buhari and then Tinubu. That is the only reason. It will make sense to see that that is the only reason why Tinubu go dey shout, say, Emilokon is my time, because we have an arrangement. But you see, the Peter Obi Kwankwaso again, it's coming to truncate that arrangement because it is not part of their plan. And what if the reason why they are angry now and they are doing everything to fight to make sure that they remain in that arrangement, it's purely because for them, they understand that if Obi win this election like he will win, what if their plan and permutation is that Obi will do 4 years from the south, that is 2027 to 2031. At that time, Atiku will be 84 years of age. When power is going back to the north, because Kwankwaso is already a vice presidential candidate, when Nigerians also love right now because of his partnership with Obi and the crowd he has always pulled from time from the north, it will only make sense to us, when not be politicians but deep thinkers, to say Kwankwaso will naturally take over from Obi. And if Kwankwaso is taking over from Obi, Kwankwaso will now do 8 years. If Kwankwaso is doing 8 years from 2031, Kwankwaso will end at 2039. Now, if Atiku is already 84 years at 2031, if you add the 8 years when Kwankwaso go do to Atiku 84 years of age, Atiku at that time will be 92 years. Now, power will leave the north again to the south. Whoever that is taken from the south will do 8 years. By that time, Atiku already will be 100 years of age. So Atiku's opportunity and chances will no longer be there. What if Atiku has done this permutation and has understood that if I wait for another 20 years, no Nigerian will want to vote for me? When power will eventually come back again to the north, at that time, I would have already been 100 years. So is it not better that I wait for south to finish 2031 and help destabilize the system, and it will come to me. I will be 84 years at the time and then take over. Why not play to this arrangement? What if that is the plan? And what if, as Nigerians today, we are now saying, no, we know better. It cannot be business as usual. This generation wants to own politics. This generation wants to own a system of who leads them. This generation wants to own a process that brings to power those who lead them. What if this is also the statement that this generation is making against what if the plan on the other side between Atiku, Tinubu, and the Kwankwaso and Obi, when they come to break that chain, when make am look like say na certain people na own this country? What if these are the plans and permutation? What if it is only for those who be deep thinker? And if you be deep thinker, you get this analogy that I just gave from the street. We are not politicians. We are just concerned about the issues when they happen for politics. And we will continue to participate in the process, because for us, we understand how important politics and politicking is to our life and our lifestyle and the entire country and the economy and the people of Nigeria. So we'll continue to interface. We'll continue to, be part of the system, even though we are not going to be active in contests, in everything. No, but we'll be part of the system. What if these nine be the plans where they get? Just what if? So Nigerians, today, like I said, is what if. If you understand this what if, person where they near you, they watch not understand the what if, please help me explain to them that the only way we can break that gene, that's their political arrangement, like say we dey run a monarchy system of government, is only when we are involved. And now we are wiser, stronger, and we now know better. Remember, once again, the title is What If? Use your tongue, count your teeth. Peace and love, Nigerians.
We've been friends for many years, and you see a lot of videos where we're standing by my side, and I didn't believe in the composition of the ADC, and I didn't believe in the ideas they represented, they are representing today. You see, for me, I've never gone to television station over the last 20 years and then say something and then attempt to walk it back after many years. That's what most of the politicians today do. I try to want to maintain those principles. So when I met Peter Obi, I asked him severally, I said, no, you can't join these people. You can't. He gave his reason why he needed to, be part of the process. And I said, look, there's not going to be free and fair processes for this whole ADC thing. There's already a gang up there. You can't go there. You are too principled, too disciplined to be part of this group. And he insisted that we're all going to ADC, and I refused to follow. And that's the only time I have not listened to him. And at the end of the day, he has seen that the things we've said about the not meeting up with the respect that we have kept Nigeria in a very stable ground. I'm from Kogi State. I'm from the northern Nigeria. I'm not from southeast, south or southwest. I'm from Kogi State. So, and I believe that those things, those integrate balance, that foundation that we are laying, that power should be rotated between north and south, was a principle that I believe in, and I'm grateful that eventually he has seen what I've talked about, and then we'll try to go back to where such principles are entrenched, like the NDC. So it is very important.
Is it a coincidence that when he was leaving the ADC was also when you were announcing your resignation from the Labour Party?
Yes, because I believe in him, and I think that I should leave the Labour Party since he's no longer coming back. At the time, I thought he could come back to the Labour Party, and since he's no longer coming back and he's going somewhere else, and I know that it's necessary for me to continue to act as the people who have been speaking on his, who has been speaking about our knowledge of his person, of his credibility, of his being a very responsible person, and a figure that will unite our country. That I should keep that, and keep that promise, and that's why I resigned from the Labour Party about 24 hours ago to be able to push a new vision for this country. And I believe Obi is the best person to carry out that vision to reality, because we've tried a lot of things. Nigerians are not just tired. They've tried tribe, they've tried religion, they've tried region, they've done every other thing. It doesn't work. As long as you keep on bringing people based on the fact that it's my tribal person, is somebody that I know, and somebody that is my language, is my religion, then Nigeria will never get it right. We're going to make their mistakes. What Obi has done is that both in private life, Obi has excelled. Before he got into politics, if there's a way somebody can be in government without being a politician, Obi would have taken that route. There's no that route than to be a politician, because he's somebody who embodies sense of sincerity and discipline. And that level of discipline is what we need for our financial management of our economy, our finances, our physical responsibility. That is the kind of thing we need right now. We can't just be saying things that are not true in order to disparage a man who have put himself in service. Like, nobody would have been able to do what Obi have done since his election was taken from him in 2023. He has remained the center of discussion. That's why they are worried. That's why they are agitated. He has remained the focal point for our political national discourse. Nobody can change that. For 2023, there's no day you can talk. People go to TV station. The other Southerners who are contesting for the presidency, why are they not talking about it? Why are they talking about Obi? They know he's the one that has the momentum, the enthusiasm by young and old people to be able to follow. It's not, look, people came up with Muslim ticket. They are reversing themselves today. The same people who are saying, oh, they made mistake, they are reversing themselves today, because you can't place national development on religion. You could have two atheists, two herbalists, two Christians, two Muslims who are good and they will do well. Nobody will worry. They talk about Abiola in 1993. I was in Lagos. Lagos was on the kind of energy you felt in that election. You can't feel it in any of the elections we've had. It wasn't about whether the Northerners made Abiola president. No, it was the whole country. I was in Lagos. I saw it. So nobody will say that, oh, in 1993 the Northerners made Abiola. No, that's not true. It was Nigerians who were committed to the principle of somebody who has the capacity to lead this country. So Abiola has the private sector experience. Abiola was driven by his love for this country. Abiola understood that if you must make this country work, you must bring somebody who has the knowledge of business, who can manage resources. And that's why Nigeria followed him. Today, Obi have done 3 times what Abiola have done. He has been generous to the north. He invested in the education in the north. He has invested in young people in the north, and that should be respected. Obi is not a politician that does things for clout. If he's that kind of loud politician, you would have seen him everywhere, and then you would have seen some things that would have not been able to give him that public acceptance that he has today. So let's not go about looking for something to talk about Peter Obi, or that everybody in their private inner cycle have accepted that this man has the capacity, the credibility, and the knowledge to pilot the affairs of this country.
Former spokesperson of the Labour Party, Kenneth Okonkwo, said that Obi is being economical with the reasons why he left the ADC, as against all the things he gave. As a matter of fact, he summarized by saying that Obi has a morbid fear of contesting primaries. How do you react to this?
You see, people have talked about maintaining, being consistent in what you say. At one time, Kenneth said Obi was the best. At one time, he said Atiku had criminal past and used money to buy primaries. And another time, he's back to Atiku. I've never done such life. I've always been consistent. If I'm supporting Obi, I support. If I'm not supporting, you will never hear that I supported the person, or I go back to talk about the people. I don't bring leaders to TV to talk about them. What I do is principle. And I think that Kenneth is not right, and maybe does not have the information, because he recently joined politics, and he was able to be appointed as one of the spokesmen, and that's what gave him the limelight, the popularity that he has today. So, but for some of us who've been here, I know the primaries that brought to be up in Abga was widely was strongly contested. It was even done by option A4. Obi won. So I do not want to mention the person who contributed to the renting of offices across Anambra at the time was my friend, still remain my friend and ally, Chief Ralph Okemosu. He knows. I know his contribution to Abga, but eventually Obi won, and we should accept that Obi contested primaries and won. And we should not be looking at, why did Obi leave PDP? The same reason people are complaining today that PDP is dying. It was because Obi was based on principle. Obi said, no, it is the son of the south. You must zone it. So he said, if you are not zoning, I'm leaving. That's why I left to talk about turn. And when it's the turn of the north, Obi will stand by the north. That is the turn of the north. And he did it in 2019 by standing with Atiku. People talk Atiku appointed Obi. All the vice presidential candidates Atiku have abandoned. Go and look at the vote Atiku got in the election. And look at what he got when he contested with Obi. You look at it, you must follow data. Data is very critical in analyzing our national politics. Look at, he got more votes running with Obi than he got with any presidential candidate, any vice presidential candidate. And they are trying to look as if the primaries in Port Harcourt, that Obi did not play a part in trying to make Atiku candidate. People just continue to hide behind one finger and tell all kind of narratives so that people will think they're not seeing them. Kenneth Ogungo should come to the reality that Obi is fighting for the northern slot, and that when this time for northern slot ends, southern slot ends, and the son of the north, Obi will stand by the north. And Kenneth should accept that the fact that Obi still remains the most credible candidate is because of his character, his competence, and his ability to accommodate all. Because if you look at from the presidential campaign council, those who worked for him, even Kenneth had the best position at the time. Today, Atiku is cutting him. They didn't cut him in 2023. They didn't cut him in 2019. They are cutting him now. Because he has become a material that was molded, that was given opportunity to fly by Peter Obi.
But you can argue that PeterObi did not make him per se.
Look, let me tell you, Kenneth was a popular actor. You give that to him. He was very good. I used to watch him as a very younger person. But in politics, his acting days, this young generation cannot remember. They can't remember. It was the popularity of being spokesman that brought the people who were born in 2000, who were born in 2001, people were born in 1997. Remember that there was somebody. Most people can't remember his acting days. Those older people like us could. You can, but young people didn't. They couldn't relate with it. So I don't think that we should go about. I think what Kenneth should do, and others like Dele Mamadou, who is on rampage, talking about PeterObi everywhere, is to sell their candidate. They have a responsibility to talk about what their candidate stands for. And Nigerians have seen that their over-concentration of opinion on PeterObi as something as if they are scared, as if they are in panic mood that Obi is the answer to the 2027 election as it was in the 2023. They are in panic mood because if I have a product in the market to sell, I should be concentrating the airtime I have in trying to diminish the product of my competitors. Because at the end of the day, what you put more in the public is what the people see. So they'll continue to see Obi. Because in journalism, in fact, in politics, there's nothing as bad publicity. That's why you can see controversial politicians that are popular than those who are straightforward. Because they can say today and then say another thing tomorrow. They are very popular. They are very popular. But if you put them on the table with Nigerians to discuss about their content, their credibility and integrity, Nigerians will reject them. But they are popular. Popularity does not mean integrity. It doesn't mean competence. It doesn't mean their acceptability. So they keep on discussing about Obi because they know that Obi leaving ADC has weakened the chances of ADC by over 60% and has created opportunity for the NDC to become the new bride of the Nigerian people. Because Obi has the enthusiasm behind him, he has the momentum of the people, he has the excitement of the people, and he has the trust of the people. Because how can you tell me a man who left governor since 2000 and for over the last 10 years, they can't find anything to arrest him on? They have investigated me, I'm turning upside down. They are collecting his property in Lagos, he's not fighting, he's going through the law, whether people believe in law or not, Obi always believe in the law. They are doing all sorts of things to try to undermine him. You don't see him shouting, you don't see him insulting Atiku, you don't see him insulting anybody who Tinubu that is contesting against. Obi has always been about the issues. Where is our money? Where is the money generated? Where are you spending it? What is happening with the contract awarded? Why are you not paying local contractors? Why are people suffering? Why is the cost of living so high? Why is out of the pocket expenses for civil servants? Why has it become something that they cannot survive with? These are the issues. These are how politics should be played. And they don't want to learn. They want to continue to talk about thinking that by telling lies, they will be able to reduce Obi. No, people are already convinced. People are already buried their interest that Nigeria must work for the good of our people. That's why you can see a candidate like Obi, they should test their popularity now. Candidate like Obi can go to a party, there's no councillor, local government chairman, no governor, no president. And they end up coming up with with 6 point something million votes after the several deductions. Because people tell me that, oh, if you say the result was stolen, I say it was stolen. I still believe it till today. Because it was announced legally does not mean it was the truth. Because there are reports from Premium Times, there are reports from BBC that you can verify and see what happened in Rivers State and other states like Lagos. So clearly, even if you now say you are going to an election and say Obi has 6.1 million votes, because you have stolen some of those votes, you will panic more, because you know those people that you have stolen their vote are still going to repeat that same vote. And this time Obi will not allow what he allowed in 2023. He will not allow any party officials to undermine him from not putting his agent across. He will not allow the fact that he will not open his eyes and allow Pepper to be put inside. Obi will make sure that the vote of the people this time will be defended. And we're all together. And Nigerians too must take responsibility. Because we cannot get this country working. We cannot get it working if we fold our hands and surrender to these people who have hijacked government.
Alright guys, thank you for watching the video with me. I hope you find the video very, very interesting and informative. Do let me know in the comment section. Let's interact in the comment section. I will reply to every comment in the comment section. Now, what do I have to say? I have little to say because the video is long enough already. If you ask me, they should give Peter Obi the chance. Yes. Because Peter Obi, according to what we are seeing and what some Nigerians are projecting, is that Peter Obi has got the capacity, the political capacity to do what the masses want like a supposed leader to do in the country. So let's give Peter Obi a chance. And those that are criticizing Peter Obi, there is never a time that you will say this is the best government, because we've had like different government, different president, different vice president up to this moment. We still criticize them. Sometimes let's give people the chance to do what they have in mind to do, what they've promised us to do. And at the end of the day, I hope that Nigeria will become a great nation again. That is what we all want. Whether you are in the diaspora, you are living in Nigeria, all we want is a good governance, good government. So let's pray for that. I will see you all in my next video. And I want to say thank you to YouTube for giving us the opportunity once again to share news and politics with our friends, our family members in Nigeria and in diaspora at large. Have a wonderful day. Bye.